Right, let's do Desert Island Dishes. We're enjoying this week because we're celebrating Independent Venue Week, which is happening next week. So a few places, well, around the country, loads of places around the country take part in this. And one of the big places that is involved is the Black Prince in Northampton. We spoke to Phil from there yesterday. So let's speak to one of the people who's going to be playing next week to celebrate. From the band Phantom Isle, it's Pete Marchant. Hello, Pete.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming in. Tell us about Phantom Isle.
So we're, I suppose broadly we fit into the indie sphere, but as you know, the world of indie is a big umbrella. So we're at the electronic end of that. So kind of, if you think of bands like Metronomy and MGMT, an indie band with lots of synths.
Okay. And you are lead vocal?
I am indeed.
Okay, because for people who can't see you, you look very cool. That's what I'm going to say. And tell us a little bit about the history of the band, because it has been, as you were saying to me a little earlier on, it's quite turbulent.
Yeah, so the band's been going for quite a while. We actually started the band properly in 2017, and then sadly about a year after we started the band, my brother was diagnosed with a brain tumour, and it was terminal, unfortunately, and but he sort of faced the whole thing with such a sense of humour, and he just never gave up fighting, even though he was just straight up told by doctors that this wasn't a curable thing, and so a huge part of why we do this band, this is his creation, and we're seeing it through as and giving it the best shot we can.
Gosh, what was he called?
His name was Matt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would imagine there might have been times when you thought, right, well, we're not going to carry on with the band after it had happened. Or were there not? Because I suppose he knew he was poorly and probably told you to
It did get to a point where, because we were determined to keep him in the band, even though, his illness got to a point where he... couldn't perform live, but he still, even though he lost a lot of his memory, like he basically suffered a stroke. That was how the illness first sort of came to our awareness, so he had to learn how to do maths again, learn how to read and write again. He could, his speech was sort of, he had a bit of a stammer afterwards, but he could still improvise on the bass. That was the interesting thing. His actual ability to improvise musically was just completely unaffected, but he couldn't remember any of the songs that he'd written.
God, the brain is bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, and so we actually were determined for him to come into the studio and record the songs with us that he'd written with us, and so I re-taught him the bass lines that he wrote. And he was incredible.
Well, so he was a bass player, so you obviously then had to find a new bass player, yeah?
We did, yeah. So a very talented bassist called Esme, who has recently done some gigs with Tom Grennan, which is pretty awesome. So Esme sort of filled in with us for a while, and then a chap called Johnny Longland became our sort of long-term bass player, and he sort of departed from the band about a year and a half ago, and so kind of after that point we just thought, let's keep it the original three of us who were in the band from the start.
So it's you and two of the other two others?
So we've got Sam on drums. Hello, Sam. And Josh, who I'm heading down to London to see them this afternoon.
Okay.
Do a bit of work on some forthcoming recordings.
And are you at the point, because if you've been together that long, is the dream to be doing this as full time? Are you doing it full time? Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult to actually make a living from music, and there's so many musicians, like huge musicians, who are still having to do like a sort of second job and stuff, and kind of we're kind of in that position really. I teach music by day and sort of do occasional bits of like modelling and stuff like that, and bits of work with my dad. Sam,
what does your dad do?
My dad is a property man.
Okay, right. So you've got quite an eclectic life then, haven't you, doing all those different things?
Yeah. Sam does teaching assisting. Okay. Josh is, sort of doing bits of admin, has even done like a lot of art department stuff on film and stuff recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you're playing next week at the Black Prince. Have you played there before?
Many times, yeah. It's an excellent venue. And I was even playing there with old bands when it was the Racehorse. It's a integral part of Northampton's music
absolutely
story.
Is, and they've got a busy week next week. So you are supporting a band called TVAM. Tell me about them.
Yeah, so I think officially it's one guy. I think it's like a project of I forget the chap's name, but he's played at Blue Dot Festival, which is up at what's the place? Jodrell Bank, where it's a big festival they do next to all the big satellites they use for sort of space stuff and space stuff.
I like the detail. That's good. Yeah.
Green Man Festival as well. They played at.
Yeah.
So they've done some pretty big festivals.
And have you done festivals?
We headlined a festival in Germany literally just before the lockdown. In fact, it's the festival that's twinned with.
Okay, yes, with Northampton.
Yeah. So Marburg is obviously Northampton's twin town, and so we headlined the Mano Festival. Yeah, so Northampton they do Twin Fests, and then the Marburg equivalent of that is the Mano Festival. So we played at that in front of about 1,000 people. We played at Les Expressifs in Poitiers last year.
Which is also twin with Northampton, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah. So, Kenny and B from Twinfest and Paul Brown were basically responsible for us being there, and we're hugely grateful to them.
Brilliant. Well, we hope the gig next week goes well. We should just quickly... play a bit of your stuff. So this is your new single, yeah?
It is, yeah. So this is out on the 15th of February. It's called Aerial Photography. That's the first time anyone's heard that title, by the way. You've got an exclusive there.
Excellent. Well, I feel bad that I'm going to dip it, but because time's against us, we're going to have to talk to you about food now. So we will send people to all the website and all of that. And it's next. You're on the 3rd, aren't you, of February?
That's
which is
right,
next. What's that? Saturday. You're the Saturday night one. Great. Yep. Okay, lovely. Right, well, let's talk to you about food. Phil from the Black Prince yesterday told me that he thought you might be quite eclectic, quite exotic with your food.
I'm very sorry to disappoint. I've gone for quite a generic choice, but I'm going to give you a bit of extra detail about what is, quite a generic. I've gone for spaghetti bolognese.
That's absolutely fine, as long as you give me some detail.
So it's interesting with spaghetti bolognese because the Italians do not call it that. That spaghetti bolognese is not a thing in Italy. Every region has its own sort of pasta and ragu. Ragu is obviously the sauce bit with the mince and the tomatoes and it originates from a French word, which means to reawaken taste. Ragu, the word goût in French means taste, to taste something.
I'm presuming from your accent you do speak French.
I do, yeah. I've been having lessons for the last couple of years. I have no sort of actual, you haven't
got any familial links there, no? Okay.
Well, I don't know. My dad reckons the name merchant is a,
Marchand.
Marchand, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oui.
Yeah.
Mais oui.
Mais oui. Okay, so back to the ragu.
The ragu, yeah. So, in Tuscany, for example, you'll have they eat peachy, which I'm amazed is not more popular here. Peachy is like spaghetti, but it's like the thickness of udon, Japanese udon. It's delicious. It's really beautifully made. So they, you'll see peachy al ragu written on menus. You'll never see spaghetti bolognese, for example. And obviously, the name bolognese it's a recipe that originates from Bologna, in the Emilia-Romagna.
Look at you.
Region.
So you're basically going to have the ragu with the fat pasta.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. In fact, I'm not going to say spaghetti bolognese. I'm going to say, peachy al ragu.
Yeah, you sound a lot. You sound a lot more refined now, don't you? Okay, so I presume that's your main course. What are you going to have for a dessert?
My fiancée and I went to Tuscany last year, which is where I found out about the peachy and ragu thing. But what they also have out there is a lot of truffles. Truffles are very popular, and they do. We've all tried tiramisu. But what about tiramisu with truffle shavings?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
You're pimping it up.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I thought I was going to hate it when we've had it, and it's delicious.
Is it?
Yeah, you'd never think it would work, but it does. It's beautiful.
And then a drink?
Oh, I forgot I was supposed to pick a drink.
Panic!
Well, going back to Tuscany again, like they there is a wine, my friend Nick has basically just kind of been trying to educate me and Tash about wine, and there is a type of wine called Brunello that is grown in the Val d'Orcia, and it's beautiful.
Okay.
They have very rigorous sort of criteria.
Is it red?
Yeah, it's a red
Right,
wine.
okay,
Yeah.
fine.
But if anybody gets a chance to try a Brunello, it's
Okay.
beautiful.
Well, very good. I mean, you sounded that. I think Phil was right. I think that does sound all quite refined. So very nice. Pete, it's really lovely to meet you.
Thanks
I
so
hope
much
you
for
have
having me.
lots of success with the band.
Thank you ever so much.
And have the three of you have fun today
Thank you.
when you see them. And if you want to go and see, there are a few tickets left, I think. So Phantom Isle supporting TVAM. Go and see them a week on Saturday. It is at the Black Prince, and support Independent Venue Week and have a look at all of Phantom Isle's work. Go online. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Annabelle. Cheers. Thank you.